Y1.
Yeah, it is y1 exactly. And what is p1 at x1? What is p1 at
Y1.
x1? Huh? If we put x1 here, it will become 0 na, so it is obviously y1.
Y1. Yes.
So what do we get? P naught at x1 and p1 and x1 are really same, and this is all what we needed. So similarly, we can find p3, p4, and p2. We can find now, or should I write it? Should I write all those components?
No,
No,
sir,
sir.
fine, Colin.
Okay. Let me formally define spline for this given example. So for this example, the spline Sx is defined to be P naught x when x lies between x naught x1. Since these are continuous, you can make equality anywhere you want. The values are not different. So what else? Defined in the required domain. We did not have P4, right? Because we had only 4. Okay, is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
The spline components are sometimes called S0, S1x, S2x, and S3x. So the overall spline can be written as SIX. Okay, any problem? Okay, so this was all for linear splines. Now we are moving to quadratic splines. Does anyone have any doubt regarding linear splines? Okay, I'm assuming that you do not have any doubt. Quadratic spline. So since linear spline was just some pair of some collection of linear polynomials, what should be quadratic spline? And can you guess what is quadratic spline? Obviously, you can guess. You've read the notes. What are quadratic splines? Quadratic splines are just collection of quadratic polynomials. So now since just like we had fitted our data with some straight lines, here we are going to fit our data with some quadratic functions. Okay, however it looks, and it might give you a more accurate accuracy than the linear spline. So question is again, how do we find quadratic spline? Actually, linear spline was very simple, but quadratic spline is a little tricky. Let us see what we can do. suppose we have a data set IYI, and we have n plus 1 points, and we are defining the difference of our intervals or the size of the intervals to be this. I mean, hi need not be constant, means the points you are partitioning with need not be equidistant. Hmm. Allow me to show you next thing. So just a second. So we have data set, and we have the length of the intervals of the data set. So suppose we have our spline Sx to be Six, means the all the collection of all quadratic polynomials which is to be fitted. Now we have to compute Sx for all Six for all I, means all the components are to be computed. And one thing is to be noticed that all Six are quadratic polynomials, so they look like a naught plus let me call them I b1x plus ci x squared. So quadratic polynomials are differentiable since they are polynomials. So they can be written as a linear function, whatever it is. Means their derivative is a linear function. Characterize this derivative upcoming thing. What did we do? We have defined S as x to be equal to 1 over hi I minus x m of I minus 1 plus x minus I minus 1 times mi. This is what we have written, where mi is s dash xi. So note that this derivative has x to the power 1 in it, so it's a linear function. So this is kind of thing which we wanted, but let me show you how it really is a derivative. So mi is si at xi. So can we just compute si dash this equation 1? So if I put will be 0 and this term will be x should be minus xi minus 1 times mi. What is mi? Mi was si dash xi. But this thing is already, we know, we have defined it to be h1 hi. So we are left with what we started with. So the definition is consistent. This is what I wanted to show. So this is the this is just a way of writing Six so that it will be a little helpful for us to conclude these values of mi's. So this is what is to be remembered. This is a smart way of writing it. Now, what we need si. So what we'll do, we will integrate this equation 1. When we integrate this equation 1, what we'll get? integrating, we'll get SIX 1 over HI XI squared divided by 2 MI minus 1 plus X minus XI plus XI minus 1 squared divided by 2 times MI. Constant CI. So how do we find the constant? Just put any end point in X. So I'm putting X equals to XI minus 1. So what will that give me? It will give me X SI at XI minus 1. And let me call this as Y minus 1 because this is what the output is. Okay. So this should be equal to, this term becomes 0 and this becomes 1 over HI HI squared, which is exactly the size of the interval. And I'm writing S, let's write M as M because M, we don't know what M is. N plus Ci. So what should be Ci then? Ci should be plus HI divided by 2 times Mi minus 1. We'll put that Ci in equation 1 again. In the integrated part, in not equation 1. Anything clear up to now? Is anyone there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I thought you all have left. Or should I just proceed?
No, sir.
Okay. So what my next target is? My next target is to find Mi. How should we find Mi? So we can use one thing. We know that the splines are continuate at knots. Knots. What are the knots? Let me draw again. If the partition points, these X's, these are called knots. Why are they called knots? Because they join two splines. So this is why they are called knots. And at knots, the two splines must give same value. I mean, this is why. I mean, the whole spline should be continuous. This is the way to say it. The whole means the adjacent splines have to be equal at the knot value. So the condition for to calculate Mi. So if I take Si at Xi, that should be equal to, I mean, the left hand limit of this should be equal to Si plus 1 Xi, the right hand limit. Okay. For example, this is suppose this is Xi S1. So its left hand limit should be equal to right hand limit of the S2. So this is what it is written. And if I put, since these are continuous, these are polynomial, just put the value at Xi and value at value of X at Si plus 1 and Si. So what will it? The value? The values of Xi and put in equation 2 because we now know what equation 2 is, because we know what C is. All we don't know is M. So when we put the values and calculate, simplify. Should I write directly or should I just show the calculation? If you put the values xi, uh, value of xi, I mean plug in xi in si and plug in x and solve it, what you'll get is mi minus 1 plus mi to be equal to 2 over hi yi minus yi minus 1. This is what you are going to get. Is that okay? So this gives you, since I runs from 0 to n, this this gives you how many equations? Note that cannot put 0, because if you put 0 it becomes mi minus 1 and have any mi minus 1. So it gives only n equations, and since the variables mi start from m naught and go up to mn, you have n plus 1 variables. So you have n plus 1 variables and you have n equations. That means you must need one more equation. So how do we get that equation? To get that equation, we place an extra condition at our spline. It is just 1, okay? So it will give me m naught equals to m1. This is one more equation. So this is how when you solve these equations, you'll get all the mi's and you will put all the mi's in the equation 2. You'll get the required spline. Summarize what I just did. You have data set xi yi, and I runs from 0 now. To find spline of second degree, you just need to calculate this. Plus what was ci? So you have to calculate this, and for calculating this, you need mi's. All you need is mi's, because hi you already know. Hi is the difference of the intervals. So how do you calculate mi? For m, the equations are this recurrence relation. So these equation are going to give you mi's. You calculate mi's and put the mi's here, here, and here, and solve this. What you will get is a quadratic equation, which is a quadratic spline for all I. Is that clear? Have any doubt? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is the more effective way of finding a quadratic spline. There is one more way of finding spline, quadratic spline. I'm going to discuss that way, and after that, the quadratic spline thing will be over. So, finding quadratic spline. We know that a quadratic spline is a quadratic polynomial, so it should this, and we have the data set. We have n+1 data set. N+1 data set means n. If we have n+1 data set, how many polynomials will be there? There will be n polynomials. Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
Okay. थोड़ा respond भी कर दिया करो, पता तो चल. So the n+1 data set. Suppose we have 3 data set x0, x2. So we'll have only 2 polynomials, na? So that means if we have an n+1 data set, we'll have n polynomials. So we have n polynomials. That means there will be n AIs, n BIs, and n CIs. 3n, total of 3n coefficient to be determined. Okay, but all we have is n+1 data set. So if you put this n+1 data set in exercise, we'll get n+1 equations, and those are not sufficient. We need more. So how do we construct more equation? Like we will construct just exactly as before. We those polynomials. The spline as a whole is continuous. One spline is gives the same value at the not si+1. Okay. So if we use the continuity of S, then we'll get n more equations. It should look like this. And here 2n. No, n-1 because we don't want n+1 to appear anywhere. Okay? So this is how it goes. So this will so how many conditions we have? We had total 3n conditions, in which we used the data points for their n+1 equations, and then equations do we have here? n plus 1 equations from there too, or you can just write them in points, so total will be n plus 1. So just subtract n plus 1 again.
सर बस लास्ट वाली लाइन बता दीजिए जो आपने बताया अभी.
I am saying you have to use continuity of s. Okay. The spline is continuous and its derivatives are also continuous. Okay. So just let me tell you that we have continuity of spline. So we have suppose we have 4 data points, which means we have polynomial like only 3 polynomials, and 3 polynomials will be seen at 2 knots. So though at those 2 knots the poly should be equal, so we'll get 2 conditions from there, and the end points will also give us 2 extra conditions. So that this means that the extra conditions given by continuity are equal to the data set of number of data sets. So we'll get n plus 1 continuity of get plus 1 data set from continuity of s dash, because since it is a quadratic polynomial, its derivative will also be continuous. And we also had n plus 1 condition just putting the n plus 1 data set points. So again, so how many conditions in total we have? N plus 1, n plus 1. Turns out, did we miss something here? Okay, it turned out to be, at the end it turns out to be 3n conditions which we have taken. So you require 3 more conditions. So more condition. Each condition with you, just as we did before. Using these 3 conditions, so now you have all the 3n conditions, 3n equations, and 3n variables, and you can solve them to find your ABC. This method is not supposed to be good. You are recommended to use the previous method, so purposes, not practical purposes, because it requires more computation. So we do not want. What we'll do, we'll use previous method where we found MIs. So this is just a straightforward method which requires extra computations. The similar thing happens for cubic spline. Just that you will read from the notes what cubic splines are, and if you have any doubt, then we'll discuss in next class. If you say that I'll explain the whole cubic spline, but I don't feel the necessity. So are you getting me? I want you to read cubic spline, and if you have any doubt, then you'll post in the WhatsApp. And if I feel that I'll have to explain all of the cubic spline, then I'll do it. And if I feel that save some time for next topic. Is that clear?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
So do you have any questions up to now? Okay, one more thing I wanted to share with you, that when the spline topic is finished, numerical analysis classes may be overtaken by some other research scholar. Most likely Sajal Mandal is there, so he'll take the next classes after the spline topic is over. So you can ask him your queries. I'll add him in the group. Okay. So we'll meet on next Friday. Any suggestion? Okay, if you have no suggestion, you can leave the meeting. Class is over. Thank you.